All right, folks, we're on back here. Happy to be back on a Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? Let's get right to it. Market's just continuing to rip and roar. NASDAQ up 243 at the moment, and no stopping this train. It's awesome. This is what we call a summer rally, folks. Great to see everybody. I am back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're back after a nice little stretch. Absolutely. Thanks for the patience. I needed it. But now it's time to really get into it, dig down, get ready for, I think is going to be a mind-blowing run. I'm telling people this, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting that people aren't as excited about what's happening as I think they should be. So maybe that's a good thing because we don't want things to get too crazy. We don't want too much hype. Great to see everybody. What's up? What's going on, chat? KB. KG's bullish silver and copper. Sure, I'm bullish everything. I think it's bullish crypto, bullish assets. And this is kind of fits into what we really talked about back in January. We will, folks, have a September 1st kind of gear up session that will basically update what we did in early January. And this will be our 2026 kind of strategy session. It's all coming together. I mean, and we'll review what we talked about in January. So if you want to be a part of that, hook up with Harmonic Pattern Collection now. At least start with the 2-week trial. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. We're going to go through the levels that the software generates and also, show you guys short-term and long-term based on the pattern framework, where we're headed and why. So get with the program now, get with the software now, and then be ready to join us on the 1st. I'll have more information a little later. Here's NASDAQ, guys. 23.9 is about it. For even in this super short term, check out what we have here. We're about to take it out literally right now. And look, it was a Gartley that last week went through the 1-2 quite nicely. And now what is it doing? It's rip roaring. Rip roaring. Right here was the T1 back on Thursday, and it was a perfect type 1. This is a extended hours chart. Okay, and then we did the return move last week into yesterday, really. And then just a little bit of a correction. And this is going to be something that I'll be covering a lot of. First of all, using bearish patterns in a bullish market like this is a good idea, because the bearish patterns and all patterns, first move is a reaction always, and then let it do its 1-2. But the thing is that the failure of patterns is typically where then it kicks up to the next higher time frame. Like this is an hourly. Clearly it did the 1 and the 2, and this is NASDAQ immediately. We produced a counter HSI. Checked it back this morning, and it's just been gangbusters. We're plus 250 off of that retest. Hop level 894. I don't think there's anything above here. Meaning, we're going to take out the hourly chart. Okay, 894. Maybe we pause up there. I expect it. We probably, as we're talking in this session, we're going to hit that. And then we'll see. Take it to the top of the hour maybe and see how that shapes up. But massive levels getting annihilated. And then what do? You have to kick up beyond daily and weekly, because we know NASDAQ is a weekly story. NASDAQ's this, guys. NASDAQ is a failed, adjusted for contracts. Hit that BADJ because that adjusts for the contracts. All right. So we did the return move. We're now way above the level of what is permissible for a type 2. There's the T2 price completion, but we have our first confirmation, and it's way above here. We're checking back right now, but that doesn't have to stop there. It's just we would need a dot. You would need a check back. You would need some bearish price action, and what it's doing is just full on green acceleration go. So even if you were bearish, you would still be prudent to at least wait for some bearish development, but that's not what it's showing us. It's just saying, I want to blast this and take higher levels now. And you guys know what those higher levels are. Okay, it's just at this point going forward, and I'm going to make it simple. It's easy to understand. We are in a 1.618 price discovery. NASDAQ, S&P, Bitcoin, and it's clear. So right now, 23,880, just a number. I think 25K on NASDAQ futures is a big psychological number, where we could easily just bypass 24K up to 25K and then start for the 1618, the weekly. You guys know my targets are much higher. 26.5 is the 1618. But even right here, are we going to bust this? It's amazing. We're right back up. All-time highs, making new highs. Summer rally just continuing. And so what's a 1618? And this is a good way to think of it. All right, the 1618 of the first summer rally correction is like 24.5. 24.5. This is daily, like a monthly expansion of what that last little dip down early August. And now we just continue. I'm I keep seeing this thing, the behavior of this, just how almost linear it is. This is acceleration character, if you will. This is the kind of character that begins to take shape once you get past key levels. So let's watch this here, where the immediate 23,880, call it 23,900, but then, full on above 23,900, you start to see crazy stuff. And, I think we could get that pretty quickly. So absolutely, acceleration character, and it should happen quickly. Last year we had a nice big stealth correction. This year you had 12 hours. You had 3 4-hour bars that dropped a nominal, what, 1? No, 2 or 3%. So that's what you're dealing with. That's what happens when you're at all-time new highs and you're just, you're 4 on the floor, straight up. That's where we are. I want to just kind of give you guys some definitive QQQ levels because we talk futures a lot, but I mean the Qs as well. Here we are, 578, 579. People saying, hey, this might be a good place where we take a little rest. I'm not there because you're doing what is a high level accumulation channel, and I'm looking for above 600, 620-ish now. There's no reason that this needs to pause. You got a little HSI at the weekly. You're checking back, but again, you would need 2 weeks, and when it's checking back super strong, get a little fall through. I suspect this dot that will eventually come in, but at higher levels, will be like up here. 628 is that 1618 on the Qs. SPY, S&P 500, same deal. Remember 6180? 6180 was annihilated, guys. We're 6450, 6460. We have an HSI up here. We are checking back up here. Remember on the monthly, it's like this. It is this big pattern, okay? Deep crab, trying to fail. We did the type 1. You guys know. If you don't know type 1 or type 2, please, by all means, become a basic member and review that material. I mean, go over here, harmonictrader.com, because I've received questions recently. And again, all of that foundation material, just register now. It's free. Email address, and then get in, log in, and check the resources. We'll spend more time on that Thursday because I received questions while I was away, people inquiring. Like, what's this mean? Or where do I get more information on that? Basic member. It's all in there. And then come to the session on the 1st of September, too. Anyway, where we are with this monthly chart is bypassing the whole zone, 6180, now 64, and just another 1618 is like 71, 72. And I don't even want to talk about any number unless it has a 7 in front of it. S&P 500 to above 7K now. I mean like you could be here in 3 months and be at 7K. It's that kind of a move that we're in the middle of. So be aware that that's where we are. It's rip roaring, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're just going to continue with it. Okay, S&P, break it on the daily. even 4 hour, daily, 4 hour, doesn't matter. I mean, this is just straight up action, bypassing patterns. And we had patterns here at 63.50, okay? And doing the stereotypical harmonic dud. What is a dud? Well, you get your signal, okay? And this is something where we've talked about it. It's not, nobody should be surprised that this yellow dot is the first confirmation along with the pattern. So 63.50, 55 was a big level. But what happened? We just spent our time, there's the completion all the way back here, exceeding 30 bars. You know, they just go right through the pattern, 30 bars, keep going up. That's just one of the ways that we can tell this pattern is failing. It's failing on the first time, and it just wants to kind of morph into something larger. That's ES futures. And ES futures, again, your breakout point is 64.75. We're there. You know, we're about to probably make that run, I would say today. Why not? And close above 75, it's gone. And then just get into the habit of this accelerated run to do the following: 1618 expansion, you know, come on back to a 382, 1618, probably 382s, and go again. That will be the pattern. That'll be the kind of the standard accelerated moves we will look for step by step. But right now we're in that kind of upward acceleration process. Let's go. What's going on, Andrew? Welcome. Come on in. Everyone else, come on in. We'll get to Bitcoin in a second because the prophecies will be realized. That's it. You know, your Bitcoin prophecy, maybe the stock market prophecy of what's going on too, will all be realized, you know, quicker than most understand. The big thing with, say, the SPY, okay, just to plant numbers here of, we're talking 7K S&P 500. Yes, we are. Currently 640. Let me clean up all this. We're 640 on the SPY, and this is something else that's happening. It's just a harmonic. It's a harmonic event. It's a harmonic trigger, if you will, where we have a bearish pattern, and this is one of the advantages of analyzing MW framework, is that we had a bat pattern and we were looking at that, okay, that retracement, saying, okay, if this is a real problem for the market, that 886 will give you a reversal. But it just blew through. And that's another sign that, hey, we're going to fail that pattern now. And I'm not worried about the prior high. What this is looking to do is just go to new highs and follow the 1618. And that's a minimum objective. Go there to there. 690. Currently 640. And when I say now, I mean now. I'm talking 30, 60 days. Now, I'm not saying end of the year. So, welcome to maybe one of the hottest environments you guys have ever seen. It just hit 23.9. Yeah, NASDAQ hit 23.9. I think people are all lining up 25K NASDAQ futures. Harmonically, guys. So, it's not like we don't have clear harmonic phenomenon going on. You know, we've got patterns, these bearish patterns getting blown out. But the interesting thing is these little retracements, they hit the zones, and then they give you high-level counter HSI oversold signals. And that's, again, another sign of strength, where this whole little correction that happened right there was all you're going to get. And you just continue higher, much like what we've seen here the past few times on daily HSI has been just fire. Look, there. Right there, back in, what was that, late May? And I would think it's a very similar signal. We had it at the low. in April, and now it just wants to continue. It is remarkable. I mean, I'm definitely impressed with how quickly it's happening. Okay, that it's wants to do it now. So then that relates to like Bitcoin in this regard, where Bitcoin is just it's there. I put out a tweet. I think my last tweet was moon phase now, and I mean it. Why? Because we have this counter HSI, another high level. Okay, Bitcoin right there with a HSI dot at 115. Now, before last week, whatever, we were dealing with, remember, the deep crab, okay? 123, we were looking for 111. We got a bullish pattern en route. And now we're retesting, okay, temporary 4-hour pattern here, 120-ish, 118.5. That's some general levels. I'm not concerned. In fact, once we get past this pause, all right, we will accelerate, and it's much higher. So what you need to know is that hop level at 123 is it. All hell breaks loose. And I mean, 115 was the trigger that we had talked about for a long time. Okay, that was here, and it smashed it. And now we have this immediate acceleration up to the bigger targets as soon as that cracks. 123.01, 123.100, and then we go. What you're looking at right here is noise. I mean, the 4-hour time frame is it printed another bearish pattern, a bearish bat, but then what did it do? Another 4-hour counter HSI. I recommend to still stick on the 4-hour time frames. I mean, this one worked, that one didn't. So we had a trigger at the end of July, excuse me. That really didn't work out there, but that worked out. We were looking for 111 anyway, combining structure level with the dot. But now, we keep doing this. That's something that, hey, that took a while for me to understand. I always knew the patterns were not the black box methodology people wanted to try to make them out to be. And, I mean, even after I put out rules for all the pattern definitions, I was the one telling people, look, it's not a black box. You need some kind of confirmation. And then go with it. And you need individual development, 3 to 5 bars. But here we are, right back, just scratching all-time new highs. It either hours or days. One strong day up. Something's coming. Something's coming that's going to trigger this, and a lot has already happened. But something's going to come. We're going to get another massive surge up higher. I think like next level, 132. For now. And I'm kind of looking at the 132 in the next month. I just, like S&P, like NASDAQ, these markets are retracing. They're doing a 1618. They're retracing. They're doing a 1618. That's where we are. NASDAQ 23,905 right now. I'm thinking this just wants to go higher. It's just, you're up 268. Why not go to 24K? This is just fire. Out of control. Yeah. So just follow that. Understand that that's kind of the controlled chaos of this rally. And it will continue. Bitcoin's one of the most harmonic creatures on the planet. I think next to gold. Gold's probably the most harmonic. I mean, Bitcoin is right next to it. So Ethereum, guys, probably, one of the most humbling moves I've seen, for me at least, and it's essentially done the unthinkable. Really, I really was like, the whole time at 2K, I was like, yeah, maybe we get to 2850 or 30 or 3K. We're 4,500. So, that's on me. That's clearly on me, no doubt. I don't even want to like sugarcoat it that I definitely was caught off guard. I still say it's a Bitcoin cycle. But whatever was going on down here, pretty sneaky, sis. Pretty sneaky. I really almost a manufactured shakeout. But look at this. Now look at this chart. So is this wedge have finally busted the move? Or we're gonna just go gangbusters? I'll look at that. I'm more Bitcoin, seriously. I'm actually more XRP in terms of my holdings. I have a little Ethereum, not a lot. I used to have a ton. And it definitely, 4 years ago, I had a large position in Ethereum up here, but got out before the big crash. And then it's like, then you go back and you think, well, no way I would have held. I mean, I would have been screaming with the position I had just 6 weeks ago. Alas, welcome to crypto. Regardless, I'll stick with the 6K target. Why? Because it's an XABCD butterfly up to the 127. Okay, that's the structure. That's our minimum. I'll stick to that. That's always been the cycle target. Is Ethereum capped for now? I'm really, I'm watching it, but it would have to roll over here. You would need a one bearish week candle. I mean, yeah, it's like it really is an F me move to me. And I've been on top of this. This is like the one market that I wasn't really bullish on that I should have been bullish on. And so I will not it will not happen again. I'll say that. Do I want to take a big position in it right now? No, I can't. I mean, just on principle. Maybe it just goes on without me. But whatever. I mean, it's it's a humbling move. Regardless, congrats to Ethereum people. Congrats to Vitalik and crew. Who knows what this stuff's really going to do? Because if I'm right about the allocation cycle, guys, that I've been saying, all of this does fly. I mean, we'll do one or two more, and then I'll start taking some shills. But XRP, let me get that longer term Binance chart. XRP and some of these others have been, they're holding their weight here, and how they're playing out. They're not retracing, which tells me, especially since this last weekly bat pattern, we were all in front of that, and I caught this big move last year and then took profits up here and then started getting back in here. 240, 250, $3, 320, 340. I have been buying. I have been buying because I am of the opinion that XRP too will realize this 440 1618. Okay, maybe that's a crab in the making because the Gartley failed. That gets you to 460, 465 minimum. And so what about the prophecy? The crypto prophecy. I'm going to be talking a lot about this because from in terms of market cap, let's just think market cap. All right, because when they said Bitcoin could go to $1 trillion market cap, people laughed. And it was 100 billion. And so people say similar stuff about XRP going to $1 trillion market cap. Maybe a matter of time. It's only 190 billion at the moment. So if it is going to be what it's going to be, then you're talking about like that, or even ETH. I mean, ETH market cap tripling practically. Where'd it go? Where's my ETH market cap chart? ETH market cap. There you go. All right, 539 billion. Just ballparking it, guys. Why wouldn't Ethereum go to a trillion? If this crypto thing's going to be big fat round numbers and Bitcoin's going to go to, challenge gold market cap, go to 10 billion. I'm not saying on this run, but if we are creating a new cycle, that new cycle is going to take you to new levels, much like what, oh, hold on. Much like what we had back down here. Excuse me. There you go. So think of it in terms of this. This is one cycle for Ethereum, and you scraped between, which was amazing. 100 billion on the top side. On the low side, it was like 20 billion. Okay, that's your old paradigm. Okay, new paradigm comes in. Next general market cap cycle. It's pretty obvious. You just ballpark these levels, 150 billion to like 500 billion. Now what? Do we break out, do the move, which, yeah, I think it's coming. This is, and probably coming now, but do something like that to a trillion from here. You're not far off. You're going to take out the 886 level. And I'm going to say that, yeah, Ethereum is definitely probably here in that kind of 886 cycle breakout. The whole time, remember, we were like, why wouldn't Ethereum get to the 886? Just in the last 6 months, I was like, okay, what's really going on if we can't even get to the 886, which is there? Well, now we're there. 886 is right there, 530. Are you going to pause, or are you going to bust it and do 1618 move? Like that. 860 billion, something like that. And go to the last cycle. It's, again, 886 is a beautiful number to gauge the retest of any support or resistance inflection. Here, last cycle, 2019, Ethereum 8 billion. There you go. And what happened there dictated how soon and how high that thing was going to go. We're in a similar spot. Everybody's ready for it. Your second half of the cycle here, looking for year end. Markets are hot. I mean, you just couldn't ask for a better self-fulfilling kind of window to open. So that's Ethereum. Bitcoin. I think we got to really buckle down. It's probably going to be even more fireworks than last year. I mean, last year didn't get going until maybe a week before the election, but it's remarkable. Yeah, I think it's there. Okay, show me. Let's go coins, and then I'll go stocks. I think that allocation of 10 trillion, yeah, Joe, it can happen. How about Litecoin for Patrick? What's up, Patrick? Welcome to our program. Hope you guys are enjoying it. We're here twice a week. That's what I do. That's what I can do. Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30. So hit the like and subscribe if you enjoy what we're doing. We talk harmonic patterns. More important, we talk precise levels, and really kind of get in on character of using the levels, using the framework to understand, hey, when are we in consolidation? When are we in acceleration? Here's Litecoin, beautiful weekly Gartley. It's above T2. I can't offer you anything here. I would love to have seen that retest, but it's still just consolidating. You probably want to just at this point play the breakout If things go crazy, Litecoin above 145 is a great bam, bat action magnet move. Kind of a harmonic breakout, if you will, X, A, B, C, D. You get above that B point. B point's at a 40%, so that triggers the bat. You shoot this move, okay? You basically, once if we get into the cycle, we get above that 145 level, then you can just buy the breakout and ride it to 275. It's happening. Why not? Why not? It's just, come on. And what's the downside? Like the downside here is that it doesn't happen and you kind of go sideways, and it just doesn't make progress, and then by the end of the cycle you just kind of scratch out, or it doesn't go up as high to like 270. I can't say, hey, just buy it right there, because that's not the point. The real breakout point is above that pattern. But we'll keep an eye on it. Why not? Those should all run. Couple more. What's up, NB? Wants to look at Cardano. Yeah, Cardano. Let's talk Cardano market cap. 30 billion. Okay, clearly 20 billion's got a floor. That 55-cent level, boy, I got snookered. I had a ton of that, and then I sold a large portion of my position, because I definitely flubbed it. Very disappointed. Regardless, I still have like 20% of that position, and I swore I'm not selling it. I'm not selling it till the whole thing is back. But I like it. I'll just cool my jets. I'm with this other stuff too. The kind of crypto positions I'm looking for are just to play the next swing. So the total crypto market cap, though, for Cardano should at least get us back to T2. And I don't want to jump the gun other than say get up there to like 43 billion. I think Cardano's got to be, you have to get some real newsworthy discussion on getting these guys in the mix with the rest of them. I know they're talking, they're talking about this, and basically mixing it in the same conversation as XRP, and also with Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think that's what needs to happen, and you need to hear more of that, so that it just kind of by default gets allocation thrown to it. But there you are. Weekly shark at 55 cents still remains to be the big support. Okay, that's not going forward. That should not be violated. And even the last HSI bullish dot, that's like 72. Okay, so we should see this continue. There are some interesting developments where you're seeing stuff like amplified RSI, and this is our harmonic RSI type indicator if you're new to it. But look, we kissed this 50 retest, and now we're headed back up. Not to mention HSI itself, look, firmly above the 50 for the first time really since all the way back here in June. So look for that to go back. I'm thinking 91, 92, still the number. And then we'll eventually get to 123. Yep. Couple more. Okay. What's up? Neil wants to look at SUI. Neil, what do you think? Is SUI going to be one of those that goes to like 20? We've been kind of stuck here under 4. And there's patterns. But I don't know. Maybe you guys know something about this project. I know a lot of people talk about it. But it's just going to be one of those that finally does it, where it's been a hell of a move as it is. But really go ballistic if we're going to go crazy on this cycle, because we're printing patterns left and right. I mean, look at that. There's SUI. So when I see that and we go, bullish shark to bearish 5-0 with another shark, back to bullish 5-0. Retest the shark. Again, ping pong. Type 1, another shark on the retest of the shark. You guys see what I'm saying? Stair stepping. I, you know, think that if we can get finally above that all-time high with all of this behind it, you really have something to look at. For now, 337, 340, I'd watch that. That's the last daily dot. And then weekly, I like this because it's trending. This is a trending asset, guys. And you guys know that I've been really kind of pounding on the fact that whatever you want to ride going into the end of the year, it really should be like this. It should be like, up, retrace down, up, retrace down, and then go again. And this has that. Could that get to a 1618? I think so. I don't think that's a problem. 1618 on SUI, 750, something like that. That's pretty good. That's what I want to look at. Sure. What's up, Caesar? Doge. Okay, I'm going to eat some dog food on Doge. Another one I've really been just throwing shade at for a year or two. And guys, I made a big bone in 2020 on Doge. Many of you know that. Many of you followed me on that. It was a massive win. Okay, but I have been, maybe it's out of jealousy, quite frankly, that I didn't catch the last run. I mean, I caught it on others, but maybe subconsciously that's why I'm throwing it so much shade, because I didn't get back down here at 10, 12 and ride that next wave. But so I'm gonna just explain my upfront bias about this. It's not personal. I do think it's going to be time. And the other question is, does this break out to kind of new cycle highs, or is this just a recovery candidate like that? And then do we do something like that? 886 or 786? Maybe, but I don't think we're going to escape this kind of behavior where you just, flush up, come down, flush. It could be like that, but I don't want to. I'm not at this point with crypto. I'm not going to diss it, especially where we are in the cycle. Specifically, though, do we have harmonic phenomenon unfolding? We sure do. We have a shark that is at target 1. So if you don't know, the shark on the first reaction becomes a 5-0. The 50% level is the target for the shark. That's 20 cents. Currently 23. If I'm just going to read this flat out, type 1 is over. Type 2 is returning. And we'll, beyond that, I think you could get to 30 or even 33. So play it dot to dot. You want to be, guys, you if you're not positioned in crypto, and I mean the big ones, or you have like maybe a core big cap crypto holding, you're going to need to grab some really soon. I think before the end of the month. That's 18 days. Maybe we only have 2 more weeks. Sure. You got it at 8 cents. Nice. You've probably been holding for a while. And again, a lot of these guys, I think the people that have been holding forever, they're going to probably end up victorious. They probably will end up, where, hey, I spent 4 years holding all of this, and then maybe, Doge will see 35 or 40 or 50 again. Will they get out? Probably not. But crypto is going to realize what they've been talking about. It's just going to get squeezed between now and the end of the year. Sure, maybe a couple more. Lino, LCX, I don't know that one. LCX. So, okay, some of these are basically getting out of their zone, the downtrend. But I'm preferring the bigger caps because this is not trending. You might get a recovery play out of this, but I think there's better stuff. I think XRP or XLM or Bitcoin straight up. And this might get a big pop, but I want to get you guys to the promised land. I want to get you guys, I'd rather have degree of certainty higher with less risk or less, just less unknown. This has always been an allocation cycle, mass allocation to come in, flow to Bitcoin, flow to the other ones, and then the smaller T coin, S coins will speculate. A lot of them haven't moved, so you've got to really be selective. I'll show you something that is moving that is Link. Another one people always talk about, great name, 23, 24 guys. Now we're up here, some back-to-back patterns. And I'm going to watch this. I mean, 24 bucks, this should be it for now. But the bigger kind of realization is, look at what's going on here. And this matters. Okay, we're building. We're building. Bearish pattern, goes up and fails, comes back. Bullish pattern, bearish, fails. Bullish pattern, bearish. Was that going to fail? But this is on a steady uptrend with what I think, when I see this kind of thing happen with patterns, that to me it's like it's coiling in a major way, like big up, down, and then go again and push it higher. You push, then you look out longer term. I think Link could be one of those. Link, I think, might be ready to do an XRP kind of a prophecy. They always talked about it. Always talked about Link. Don't think it has made the big move yet. But this is another one you want to ride that trend. We're at the top end of the channel. Maybe we overspill. But you go back here, 2022, okay, that's not a bad chart at all. Building with eventual possibility, okay, for recovery move minimum. Minimum recovery move is like this. X, A, B, C, D to the 886 is like $45, $47. Couple more. You guys, what's F? Oh, I know about that one. Okay, you guys are FWOG. Sure, I know that's Mitch brought that to my attention. Are we moving? Should we run this? Should we be running this? 5 cents, up 16 cents, 16% today. Oh, man. All right, well, here's a recovery spec play, 5 cents. Massive bat pattern, 2 back-to-back patterns. I would just base it off of this little guy, the little bat. So you're 5 cents. Currently, 3 cents was the entry. I know Mitch told me this like a month ago, so shout out to Mitch. And so I think you guys, especially his crew, are probably in down here. Use the bat. My guess is that you could go as high as, believe it or not, 9. Target 2. And that's also the bottom end of that range. So target 2, guys. I think so. All right, a few more, and I'm going to move on, and I will Yeah. Let me get a couple more here. What's up, Arun? Let's look at Tau. Is that moving? Are those moving finally? Should we be back to the AI coins? Pretty soon. A lot of daily, nice daily high level stuff. And look, Tau is also, I think there was, where was the weekly was a high level too. A lot of people talk about that. There's probably better ones, and go to the 4-hour chart anyway. At this point, you should be on 4-hour charts, because if we are where I think we are, then we're looking for these kind of launch points to go now, not later. Couple more. Ape coin, I guess. Ape, yeah, I think I'll use this as an example of all the other T coins, S coins. We can go deeper on Thursday, okay? Ape coin, it's just building in development. Again, excuse me. I think this is, maybe speculate with a small amount, but again, can we truly say this is trending in the right direction? Is it trending up? No, it's still trending down. Maybe you do a recovery. Not to say they couldn't go from 60 cents to 120, but you're not trending. Why are we looking for trending, guys? Is because we want this stuff, and I'll go to Solana. I know you guys, a few of you wanted to look at Solana. Solana 186. Well done. Okay, you're up here. Solana on the weekly, or even someone asked for Binance coin. There you go. From Harmonic perspective, what we want to see happen is you get some kind of reaction like Solana's doing, come down, and then we want it to go back, retest the pattern, use the pattern. So Solana short 227, 285 minimum, but go crazy and blow through the pattern. That would be your ideal scenario, like a 1618 from there. I feel better with the bigger caps than the smaller caps, and we know this is at least trending for the last 2 years, 3 years. That's what we want. One or two more. AVAX is in that, not trending. I know people are talking about it, and maybe we'll catch a bid off of these lows. Conversely, though, this could go 24 to 30 while the rest skyrocket, and that's all it does. There's a bunch like that. We'll probably get more of that on Thursday. Yeah. 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 All right. I'm going to cut it right there. That's what I have for today. Come back Thursday, guys. I'll give away software package on Thursday. We'll go a bit deeper on the shills, the coins. I do think there are some things that are setting up. But I want to see Bitcoin back at all-time new highs. So that's what we want to be positioning for. Certainly, by the end of the month, I think it's going to be too late. So check that out, folks. Get over to harmonictrader.com. Okay, get the software. If you have questions, join us on the Discord. All right, I'll have more information on that. But again, things are continuing higher. We're in a great position, and we will come back Thursday and dive even deeper. Thanks, everybody.